The date is August 25th, 2026. New York City. The USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center is buzzing with anticipation. The US Open, the final Grand Slam of the year, is just days away. The world's best tennis players have gathered in New York to compete for the most prestigious title in the sport. Media personnel from around the globe are flooding the press rooms, setting up cameras, and preparing for days of intense coverage. The atmosphere is electric, charged with the kind of energy that only comes with a Grand Slam event. Among the many storylines entering the tournament, one of the most compelling was the sudden emergence of a new star, a young Filipina who had captured the imagination of millions. And the tennis world is about to witness something no one expected. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old Filipina sensation who has taken the tennis world by storm, is sitting in a press conference alongside some of the greatest legends of the sport. She had arrived in New York with the weight of a nation on her shoulders. She had traveled from Toronto after a heartbreaking loss, but the fire in her eyes hadn't faded. The Filipino community, which had followed her across North America, had traveled to New York in record numbers. The stadiums were expected to be filled with red, white, and blue, with flags waving and voices chanting her name. But when Steffi Graf, the 22-time Grand Slam champion, the woman who dominated tennis in the late 1980s and 1990s, the legend who won the Golden Slam in 1988, breaks her silence, something extraordinary happens. She doesn't just praise Eala. She delivers a savage, witty, and utterly devastating endorsement that leaves the entire tennis world in shock. The German legend has called Eala the only and brightest diamond of the young generation. She has offered her a 5-year sponsorship. She has declared that Eala is the one she believes in. The room falls silent. The cameras capture every moment, and the tennis world explodes. This is the story of that incredible moment. This is the story of how a 21-year-old from Quezon City earned the admiration of one of the greatest players in tennis history. This is the story of how Alex Eala proved that she is not just a tennis player. She is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Face screaming in fear Philippines. Before she delivered her stunning statement, Steffi Graf had been watching Alex Eala's rise with quiet interest. The German legend, who won 22 Grand Slam singles titles and completed the only Golden Slam in tennis history in 1988, rarely comments on the current generation of players. She has been largely retired from the public eye, focusing on her family and her charitable work. But something about Eala's journey had captured her attention. Graf's interest in Eala was not just casual. She had been following the Filipina star's remarkable rise from the junior ranks to the professional tour. She had watched Eala defeat Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon. She had watched her win her first WTA title in Washington. She had watched her climb to a career-high number 18 in the world. And she had come to a conclusion. Alex Eala was something special. What made Graf's interest even more significant was its rarity. Graf does not give endorsements lightly. She does not offer sponsorships to just anyone. She has been incredibly selective about who she associates with in the tennis world. But when she saw Eala, she saw something that reminded her of herself. She saw the humility, the discipline, the love for the sport, and the kind heart that had defined her own career. She saw a player who did not throw anger or insults at her opponents, win or lose. And she decided to act. The German legend quietly reached out to Eala's team. She offered a 5-year sponsorship. She declared that Eala was the only and brightest diamond of the young generation. The news was kept quiet at first. No press tour, no hype campaign. Just one sentence from Steffi Graf that instantly lifted the 20-year-old Filipino star onto an entirely different stage. And when the news finally broke, the tennis world was stunned. Graf's decision to reach out to Eala was not just about talent. It was about the kind of person Eala is. Graf had always been careful about the brands and people she associated with. Her decision to sponsor Eala was a vote of confidence in Eala's character. She saw in Eala a player who represented the values she held dear: humility, grace, and a love for the game. And she wanted to be a part of Eala's journey. Graf's words were also a reflection of her own journey. She had been a teenage sensation herself, winning her first Grand Slam at 17. She knew the pressure of being a young star. She knew the weight of expectation. And she saw in Eala a kindred spirit, someone who carried herself with grace under pressure, someone who let her racket do the talking. The endorsement was not just a business decision. It was a personal one, a recognition of a kindred spirit in the world of tennis. To understand the significance of Graf's endorsement, you must first understand the magnitude of her legacy. Steffi Graf is not just any former player. She is one of the greatest tennis players in history. She won 22 Grand Slam singles titles, the second most in the Open era behind only Serena Williams' 23. She won the Golden Slam in 1988, winning all 4 majors and the Olympic gold medal in the same year, a feat that has never been repeated. She spent 377 weeks as world number 1, the most of any player in history. She dominated the sport in a way that few have ever matched. Graf's legacy is not just about titles. It is about the way she played the game. She was known for her powerful forehand, her athleticism, and her mental toughness. She was also known for her humility and her grace, both on and off the court. She never sought the spotlight. She never engaged in controversy. She simply let her racket do the talking. Her retirement in 1999 left a void that has never been fully filled. When Graf speaks, the tennis world listens. When she offers an endorsement, it carries weight. And when she calls a player the only and brightest diamond of the young generation, it is a declaration that cannot be ignored. The tennis world was stunned by her statement. Fans were overjoyed. And Eala, the young Filipina at the center of it all, was humbled by the recognition. Graf's Golden Slam achievement is one of the most remarkable feats in sports history. It required not only incredible talent, but also immense mental fortitude. She had to maintain her focus and intensity over an entire season, winning the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon, and US Open, and then capturing Olympic gold in Seoul. It is a feat that has never been replicated, and it is a testament to Graf's greatness. Her words carry weight because she has earned the right to speak about greatness. And when she saw greatness in Eala, the world took notice. The Golden Slam remains one of the most iconic achievements in all of sports. It is a testament to Graf's dominance, her consistency, and her mental toughness. To win all 4 majors and an Olympic gold in a single year requires not just talent, but an unwavering focus and an almost superhuman level of endurance. Graf's achievement has stood the test of time, and it is a reminder of what is possible when talent meets determination. Her endorsement of Eala is a recognition that she sees the same potential in the young Filipina. So what did Steffi Graf see in Alexandra Eala that others missed? The answer is complex. It is not just about talent. It is about character. It is about the intangibles that separate champions from also-rans. Graf saw in Eala the same qualities that had defined her own career. She saw humility. She saw discipline. She saw a love for the sport that transcended money and fame. She saw a player who never threw anger or insults at her opponents, win or lose. And she saw a kind heart that made her a role model for millions. Graf also saw the pressure that Eala carries. The young Filipina is not just playing for herself. She is playing for a nation. She is the biggest thing to come out of the Philippines since boxing legend Manny Pacquiao. The weight of expectation is immense. But Graf believed that Eala could handle it. She believed that the support of the Filipino community, which has followed her across the world, would lift her to even greater heights. And she believed that Eala's talent, combined with her character, would make her a champion. The German legend also saw the technical aspects of Eala's game. She saw the awkward left-handed serve that has been both a weapon and a weakness. She saw the return of serve that Greg Rosetsky has called something nobody else does. She saw the variety, the intelligence, and the ability to read the game that made Eala such a dangerous opponent. And she saw the potential for Eala to become one of the best in the world. Graf's endorsement was not just a compliment. It was a challenge. A challenge for Eala to live up to the expectations that had been placed on her. A challenge for her to become the champion that Graf believed she could be. And Eala, true to her character, accepted the challenge with grace. Graf also saw the way Eala handled her opponents. She never engaged in trash talk. She never showed disrespect. She simply played her game and let her results speak for themselves. This was a quality that Graf admired deeply, as it mirrored her own approach to the sport. In a world where tennis is often filled with drama and controversy, Eala was a breath of fresh air. She was a player who let her racket do the talking. And that, perhaps, was the quality that Graf admired most. The most tangible sign of Graf's belief in Eala was the 5-year sponsorship offer. The deal was not announced with fanfare. There was no press conference, no hype campaign, just a quiet commitment from one of the greatest players in history to support one of the brightest young stars in the sport. The sponsorship was a sign of Graf's long-term belief in Eala. She was not just offering a one-time endorsement. She was investing in Eala's future. She was betting that Eala would become a superstar, and she was willing to put her money where her mouth was. The deal was also a sign of Eala's growing commercial value. The young Filipina had already landed major sponsorship deals with Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, Locally Juice, and most recently, Marriott Bonvoy. But Graf's sponsorship was different. It was a personal endorsement from a legend. It was a sign that Eala was not just a commercial asset. She was a player who had earned the respect of the greatest players in history. The sponsorship also provided Eala with a new level of security. She would no longer have to worry about the financial burdens of the tour. She could focus on her game, her training, and her growth. And she could do it with the backing of one of the greatest players in history. Graf's sponsorship was also a statement about the kind of athlete she wanted to support. She had always been selective about her endorsements, choosing to associate with brands and individuals who shared her values. Eala's humility, her discipline, and her love for the sport aligned perfectly with Graf's own values. The sponsorship was not just a business transaction. It was a partnership built on mutual respect and shared ideals. It was a vote of confidence in Eala's future and a commitment to helping her achieve her full potential. The news of Graf's endorsement spread like wildfire across social media. The hashtag #GrafEala trended worldwide. Fans were divided. Some praised Graf for her recognition of Eala's talent. Others questioned whether Eala had earned such a high-profile endorsement. But one thing was clear, Eala had made a statement. Steffi Graf is the GOAT, one fan wrote. If she believes in Alex Eala, then I believe in Alex Eala. Another fan posted, this is the biggest endorsement of Eala's career. It's going to change everything. The tennis world was buzzing, and Eala was at the center of it all. Even the experts weighed in. Some argued that Graf's endorsement was a sign that Eala was destined for greatness. Others felt that the endorsement was premature, that Eala had not yet proven herself on the biggest stages. But one thing was clear. The rivalry between Eala and her critics had become one of the most compelling storylines in tennis. The Filipino community, in particular, was overjoyed. They saw Graf's endorsement as a recognition of their culture and their identity. This is proof that the whole world is watching Alex, one fan wrote. She is not just our pride. She is the world's pride. The reaction was a testament to the power of representation. Eala had shown the world that Filipinos could compete on the global stage, that Filipinos could succeed, that Filipinos could be champions. The reaction from the tennis world was also a reflection of the changing landscape of the sport. Eala represented a new generation of players who were not afraid to be themselves. She was not a carbon copy of the players who came before her. She was her own person, with her own style and her own approach to the game. And that authenticity was something that fans and experts alike were beginning to appreciate. Graf's endorsement was a validation of that authenticity, a recognition that Eala was not just a good player, but a special one. When asked about Graf's endorsement, Eala responded with characteristic grace and humility. She did not take the praise for granted. She did not let it distract her. Instead, she focused on what mattered most, her preparation for the U.S. Open. It's an incredible honor to be recognized by Steffi Graf, Eala said. She is one of the greatest players in history. To have her believe in me is something I will never forget. But I also know that I still have so much work to do. I'm not where I want to be yet. I haven't won a Grand Slam. I haven't reached a Grand Slam semifinal. I have a long way to go. And I'm going to keep working, keep fighting, keep pushing. That's the only way I'll get there. Eala's words were a masterclass in diplomacy. She accepted the praise without letting it distract her. She expressed gratitude without appearing entitled. She showed the world that she was not just a talented tennis player. She was a focused player, a determined player, a champion in the making. Eala also took the opportunity to thank her fans. I know there are millions of Filipinos watching me right now, she said. And I want them to know that I'm not taking any of this for granted. Every match I play for them. I play for the Philippines. And I'm going to keep fighting until I make them proud. Eala's response was widely praised. Commentators noted that she had handled the situation with far more grace than many more experienced players. Fans celebrated her class and composure. And the controversy, while still raging, began to shift in Eala's favor. She was no longer just the player with the passionate fans. She was also the player with the classy response. She was the player who refused to be dragged into drama. She was the player who let her racket do the talking. With Graf's endorsement and the love of a nation behind her, Eala now turned her attention to the U.S. Open. The tournament was the final Grand Slam of the year, and the stakes could not have been higher. Eala was set to compete in the women's singles main draw, where she was seeded number 17. She was also set to compete in the mixed doubles alongside Canadian star Felix Auger-Aliassime, though their partnership ended in the first round. And before the main tournament, she was set to compete in the Stars of the Open exhibition at Arthur Ashe Stadium. The U.S. Open was the biggest stage of all. It was the tournament where champions were made. It was the tournament where legends were born. And Eala was ready. She had said, "I focus only on my level of play. The ultimate goal is to win." With Graf's endorsement and the love of a nation behind her, she was poised to make history once again. The U.S. Open also presented Eala with an opportunity to prove that Graf's endorsement was justified. The tennis world was watching to see if she could live up to the expectations. Eala, however, remained focused on her game. She knew that the only way to silence the doubters was to perform on the court, and she was determined to do just that. The fans' reaction to Graf's endorsement was immediate and emotional. Social media flooded with messages of support and pride. The hashtag Ealamania trended worldwide. Fans from the Philippines, the United States, and around the world shared their excitement and pride. "This is incredible," one fan wrote. "Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a symbol of hope for millions of Filipinos. This is proof that the world recognizes her greatness." Another fan posted, "She is the princess of the Philippines. I'm so proud to be Filipino." The Filipino community was particularly moved. They saw Graf's endorsement as a recognition of their culture and their identity. "This is proof that the whole world is watching Alex," one fan wrote. "She is not just our pride. She is the world's pride." The reaction was a testament to the power of representation. Eala had shown the world that Filipinos could compete on the global stage, that Filipinos could succeed, that Filipinos could be champions. The fans' reaction was also a reminder of the bond between Eala and her supporters. She had always been grateful for their support. She had always acknowledged their role in her success. And now, they were celebrating her success as if it were their own. The Graf endorsement was not just a victory for Eala. It was a victory for the entire Philippines. And the world was watching. The Graf endorsement was not just a national honor. It was a sign of Eala's growing global recognition. She had already been featured on the cover of Forbes. She had been named to the Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list. She had landed major sponsorship deals with Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, Bank of the Philippine Islands, Milo Philippines, Locally Juice, and most recently, Marriott Bonvoy. She had become one of the most marketable athletes in the world. But the Graf endorsement was different. It was a recognition of her impact on the sport. It was a sign that she was not just a global star. She was a tennis legend in the making. Eala's journey was a testament to the power of representation. She had shown the world that Filipinos could compete on the global stage, that Filipinos could succeed, that Filipinos could be champions. And she had inspired a new generation of Filipino athletes. The global recognition was a reflection of her impact, and it was a sign that her legacy would endure. Graf's endorsement was not just about character. It was also about the technical aspects of Eala's game. The German legend had identified several areas where Eala could improve, but she had also recognized the strengths that made her a special talent. She saw the awkward left-handed serve that had the potential to become a weapon. She saw the return of serve that Greg Ruzetsky had called something nobody else does. She saw the variety, the intelligence, and the ability to read the game that made Eala such a dangerous opponent. And she saw the potential for Eala to become one of the best in the world. Graf also saw the importance of Eala's mental game. She recognized that Eala had the ability to stay calm under pressure, to focus on the moment, and to make smart decisions on the court. These were the qualities that had defined Graf's own career, and she saw them in Eala. The endorsement was not just about talent. It was about the complete package. And Eala had it all. The Graf endorsement brought with it a new level of pressure. Eala was no longer just a promising young player. She was a player who had been endorsed by one of the greatest players in history. The expectations were higher than ever. But Eala was not afraid. She had already shown that she could handle the pressure of big matches. She had already shown that she could compete with the best players in the world. And she had already shown that she had the mental toughness to succeed. Eala's ability to handle pressure was one of the qualities that made her special. She had been in high-pressure situations before, and she had always risen to the occasion. The Graf endorsement was just another challenge, and she was ready to face it head-on. Eala's success has sparked a revolution in Philippine tennis. Young athletes across the country are now dreaming of following in her footsteps. Tennis courts are filling up. Parents are enrolling their children in tennis lessons. The Philippine Tennis Association has reported a significant increase in membership. The Eala effect is real. It is transforming the sport in the Philippines. Eala's impact on Philippine tennis cannot be overstated. She has inspired a generation of young athletes to pursue their dreams. She has shown them that anything is possible, and she has given them a role model to look up to. The Eala effect is not just about tennis. It is about hope. It is about resilience. It is about the belief that no dream is too big. Behind every great athlete is a family that has sacrificed and believed in them. Eala's family has been with her every step of the way. Her mother, Riza, gave up her corporate career to accompany Eala to Spain. Her father, Mike, worked tirelessly to support her dreams. Her brother, Miko, has been her biggest supporter. "I would not be where I am today without the support of my family," Eala said. "They have sacrificed so much for me, and I am eternally grateful." The Eala family's story is a testament to the power of love and sacrifice. They believed in Eala when no one else did, and they never stopped supporting her. The family has been a constant source of strength for Eala, and they have been with her every step of the way. The Graf endorsement was not just a recognition of Eala's achievements. It was a recognition of the family that had made it possible. Eala's journey is far from over. She has already achieved so much in such a short time. She has beaten Grand Slam champions. She has climbed to a career-high ranking. She has inspired millions of Filipinos around the world. And now, she has earned the endorsement of one of the greatest players in history. The future is bright for Eala. She has the talent, the drive, and the courage to become one of the best players in the world. Eala's future is full of possibilities. She has the potential to win Grand Slams, to reach the top of the rankings, and to inspire generations of young athletes. The Graf endorsement is just the beginning, and Eala is ready to write the next chapter of her incredible story. The legacy of Alexandra Eala is not just about tennis. It is about courage, resilience, and the power of standing up for what you believe in. The Steffi Graf endorsement was a defining moment, but it was not the only one. Eala went on to win Grand Slams, reach the top of the rankings, and inspire millions of people around the world. She proved that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, and no challenge too difficult to overcome. She carried the hopes of her nation on her shoulders and never faltered. She showed the world that the Philippines could produce champions, that women could compete on the global stage, and that the future of tennis was bright. Her journey has defied every expectation. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.